If you want to remove your seams, you have access to your stitch and weld tools, which are pretty easy to use. They all work based off of selection. So in this case, we'll make a selection here. We'll stitch, and you see we get stretching from our left side. And if we use this middle option, we'll get stretching on both. And the right option, we'll get stretching on this right side, which was the unselected side. If we go ahead and use these options here, we'll get an option where we can align our clusters, where the clusters will move together and then weld to reduce our stretching. So that covers the array of stitch tools. Now our weld tools are simple to use as well. So we have a target weld, which will take our component selection. In this case, we have edges. We can drag. Our cursor changes, we'll let go, then they weld. We'll do the same thing with our vert selection. Click and weld. And that's essentially the target. Well, thing to keep in mind, this is a toggle. You can't make any selections while you have your weld on, so make sure you untoggle that. The next few settings here, we have a weld selected, so we have to have both sides selected in order to weld. So let's make our edge selection here. Click the option, welds our two edges together, and then we'll have our weld selected sub-object. Now this works just the same as this tool, but it uses a threshold. So our points are too far apart. We can change our threshold under Preferences, which is Alt is or Control is O for the hotkey for that. We'll hit OK. So if we go ahead, Control O to open up those preferences. So I brought up my threshold. Let's see if we're within the threshold, and we are. So these two roughly do the same thing. Let's undo some more. There we go. And the last option essentially is the same as the previous two options, but instead of just welding these two, or in this case I can just select one part, it will weld from here to here, but it will expand the selection not to just edges, but expand it to my vert filter as well, and weld the vertices together. So in this case, it will weld these two in addition to these two. Where are you? Up here. This little blue dot with this red dot. So again, with my edge selection, we'll click our final weld tool, weld any match with selected, and you get to see what we get. A little odd and strange in this instance, but nonetheless a versatile tool.